Hey there, I'm Lee Kellogg, and thank you for joining me on this another crafty adventure creative card. We're making Easter cards today. We're using watercolor paper, watercolors, some regular watercolors, sparkly watercolors on a sheet of inexpensive watercolor paper. You don't need anything really fancy. And we're going to create some really simple cards, easy to do at home, nothing outrageously fancy needed. So let's get to it. All right, so we are making, or I am making the master sheet for our Easter eggs. We're making the Easter egg card, and I'm making a motherboard, as sometimes it's called, and I'm using watercolor paper, and I'm going to use some metallic watercolors and such. And right now I taped most of my paper down using just the washi tape that you get from the paint department at your home improvement store. It is a 3M product. It says delicate surface, but the stuff is like awesome. It's inexpensive. It's the way to go. I am going to be using my Creative Expressions sparkly paints. And I just have to decide which set because these are just like so much fun. And I think I'm going with this one, which I think is actually the Christmas set. And Christmas, spring, maybe we'll go with spring because it is spring. And one of the things, I'm letting this first water sort of soak in, and that's perfectly fine. These guys have to be woken up. Now, whether you use these or the Twinkling H2Os, any of them, and I do this with my other watercolors also, I do wake them up. So you put some water on them and let them sit. And I'm going to give my hats off to Fred Mullet because this technique that I'm going to be doing, I actually learned from him a long time ago. And we're just going to let those guys sit, get nice and juicy and goopy. And I use a big brush to put the water on because we want it all. We want it to flow. We want it to travel. We're just making background stuff. Okay, so we're going to add a little color to start with. And one thing when you do this, you don't want to get too crazy with all your colors. You don't want to get too many colors because then you start getting mud. So you want to keep pretty simple, like 3 colors. I'm going to do the purple, a yellow, and probably a blue. There's the pink, the magenta pink there, and I've got 2 yellows going because I prefer the brighter yellow. And pick a blue to play with. I've been playing with this Mayan blue from Daniel Smith. It's sort of a pale blue. And you can go back, grab more color if you want. We'll make it a little more intense. And remember, this is just like a motherboard thing. It's background work. Now, let's grab these guys. And I'm getting my stuff nice and wet here. And I'm working with a fairly big number 16 brush, and I'm flinging color on here. And once again, you want to keep it simple, and you probably want to do some little contrasting work to what is on here. And I seem to be going for the greens here to grab a purple. Now I've got one of my art foamies, and I'm just going to stick it on my palette over here that's got watercolor paint on it, and make some tracks across the page. And you can't really tell that they're tracks, but that's okay. That's actually a good thing. And I'm just smushing paint around. Got a little green on there, sort of hard to tell, but picking up some of the mud colors, because remember, I'm going to cut Easter eggs out of these, and look at this, look what this is doing. So this is actually very cool. So I'm just going to stop and let this dry. And we will come back after it's dry and see what this stuff all does and just see how it turns out. And remember, watercolor, when it dries, it does dry paler than it is wet. So this is going to go a little softer in color. All right, we are ready to trace out our shapes now for the eggs. You can see the paper's dry. Had a little tear with the washi tape because I didn't wait for it to dry. I was impatient and wanted to see how everything looked. So I'm using these egg foamy stamps to be my templates, so I can lay my egg down and trace around them with a pencil. And then I will use that to cut out. And then I can layer my cards. And if there's pencil left showing, it's erasable. So it's easy enough to do several eggs here for my cards. And I would say watch my Instagram page, my Instagram feed, because occasionally I give cards away. If you want one sent from me, just haunt the Instagram feed. It's Lee E. Kellogg, and you might get a card from me. Because I've put it up several times, and it's interesting what people don't read. They don't respond. So I've got 5 across there. I'm going to make a few more, because these are my focal point eggs. They're the center. And then I'll use the other sizes to layer. All right, and yes, you could probably hear the dryer going in the background. Keep the clothes clean. So there I have 9. Let's see if we do more, but meanwhile, I need to do some smaller ones first before I try to do more bigger ones, more larger ones, because I need a few of these guys. Three, 4. Just do a few here, a few, put some little ones in, so I've got them. And if you have a stencil, you could use the stencil to create your cutouts. You know, if you have a rubber stamp, you could always stamp on the back and just cut out that way. There's multiple ways to do this. So this just happens to be what I had easy to hand and what I'm working with. And you could also just draw egg shapes like on a cereal box and cut them out and use them as your templates. So there's multiple ways to create this project and make it happen. Did I get the tear? No, yay. 3, 4, 5. We'll do 6. I could get 7 in. I'll get 7. Make the most use of my paper. And I've got room for 1 more of these guys, maybe 2. Oh, just that one. Alrighty, so next we'll be cutting. Hard to see the lines, but they're there. So I will go cut out and then we'll come back and assemble the card. All right, I have all my eggs cut out. You can see they actually turned out, I think they turned out gorgeous. It's just a real pretty combo of just like random watercolor and some sparkling, like twinkling H2Os or the metallic watercolors on top of just 3 watercolor colors, just 3 colors. I used the yellow, I've actually used 2 yellows, so it's 4, the pink, magenta, and then the Mayan blue, sort of this duller blue. And then I flung on the metallics, you can see there, and let them just splatter, and made a little print with the footprint by the bird stamp. So this is like, I'm ready to make cards now. So I've sort of got my things all set out, and I've got enough for, it looks like 6 cards, maybe 7. I'll do something with these guys for those 2. At least 7 with the 3. I may change it as I go, but I will put together one card here to get started. And I'm using it's called Basis Aqua, and it's from Paper Cut. I've had this for quite a while, so I don't know if they still have this color, but that's what I had on hand, and that's what I'm using. I'm using double-sided tape, as I always do. I am like the double-sided tape queen. Yes, it takes a little more effort, but I find that it holds better and longer than glue sticks. So that's just my answer. And yes, I've got tape runners somewhere, but this is what I've got, and this is what was close to hand. So I'm playing with it. And getting some of this done and ready to go. So it's, yes, this is the harder stuff to peel off. And my fingernails have been dying lately, so it's doesn't help. And the fingernails dying is a result of thyroid medicine change. So when your thyroid doesn't work right, your fingernails break. And it took me a long time to learn that. I just thought it was because I was a crafter and abusing my fingernails with paints and glues and things, and nope, it's thyroid. Okay, there, got all the tape off. So I'm just sticking them down. This is pretty easy. It's nothing fancy. I want you to make your crafting simple and inspiring. It needs to be easy. Don't make it complicated, and play with it. And I'm also doing these sort of in layers. Ooh, I did that. Do I want to stick that one that's so similar? But that's all right. We're going to have similarities. And then this guy will be right here, a little forward. And he's a little different color, so he does pop, which is good. And we like to do that in composition. And I'm seeing some pencil lines right along there on that one. So before I lay something over it, I missed a few here. I erased the pencil lines on most of them. And there it is, no pencil lines. So there's my bare bone basics. I definitely want to add some shadow, and I think I'm going to do that with pencil. So let me go grab some pencil and graphite, because I want to, these eggs are just sort of floating on there, and I want like a horizon line. I want some shadow. So let me go grab something and we'll get to work on the shadow. All right, so I've grabbed an 8B pencil. B means it's a soft lead. H means it's a hard lead. HB is sort of the middle of the road. I'm just putting a little bit of light, drawing my horizon line there and putting a little shadow in with this. Just drawing a little in there, really light. Now I'm using a smudge stick here, a little paper smudger to soften that line. And my eggs, now have a horizon. They now have, they're planted on the paper rather than just sort of randomly floating there. So now this card is ready for you to stamp Happy Easter, whatever, Happy Spring, whatever message you want to write in there or stamp in there. It is ready. If you want to stamp some design elements up here, go for it. You know, it's totally up to you what you do with it. But there's the basic card. So we're ready to go. Just a quick look at all the finished cards. So they're similar, but no two are alike. So that was a quick and easy way to create a handful of cards. So thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate that you took a few minutes to watch to see how to make this card. I hope you're go away from this inspired, have fun, get out, make some cards. I realize Easter's really soon, but it'll come next year. You can use this technique for other cards. So get out there, play with your paints, get your stamps out, whatever, make some cards, send them out. Spread the love, spread the creativity, spread the joy. And please, you can find more at my website, leekellogg.com. You can sign up for my monthly newsletter, which is called Creativity Monthly, where I share all kinds of things about keeping you motivated to be creative. So I'm Lee Kellogg, more at leekellogg.com, or please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.